Okay, you guys, my actual body is way too pale to be wearing this hot pink shirt, and my face I feel like looks like a tomato and is 5 shades darker than my body, but we're just gonna roll with it today. I'm running late for work, but we're like getting to the last few days of June, and I made a commitment to myself at the beginning of this month that I was gonna post every single day in June, and by golly, that's what we're gonna do. So I'm filming this video today, and then I'm gonna edit it after work, and hopefully, fingers crossed, post it tomorrow. I just need to remember for work, we're gonna wear, like, do we need to wear a turtleneck today? I mean, it's gonna be like 90 degrees out. I promise I am getting out in the sun. I'm just wearing good SPF on the body. Anyway, you guys, I'm very excited for today's video because it is going to be my updated midway through the year makeup inventory. I was really excited to take count of my makeup inventory again and just see how things have changed. At the beginning of this year, I set out with a goal to get my makeup collection, excluding palettes and single shadows, to, I was hoping, but I knew it was a stretch goal, I was hoping to be at below 450 items by the midway point. Spoiler for the end of the video, we didn't quite make it there, but we did have some categories that we saw decent decreases in, and overall my makeup collection has decreased. If you are not following my makeup rehab series, my year-long low buy beauty budget challenge situation, I will leave that linked down below in case you're interested about some like low buy style of rules that I've set for myself this year. But if you're interested in where my makeup collection currently lies, if you're interested in the numbers, stay tuned for us. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Okay, you guys, if you notice me looking down, I have my notes in front of me. I am so bad about changing some of my categories. Like, if a face palette, say like my ABH face palettes that have 4 highlighters in them, but they were all highlighters, I would count them in my highlight category and not my face palette category. So some of my categories I feel like change a little bit from year to year. Also, I will post pictures on the screen, so I should scooch over a little bit. I will post pictures of where my makeup inventory is currently. There are a few pictures where like I found an item here or there after taking the initial picture, and in that situation I added to my makeup inventory, but I didn't retake the picture. Prepping for makeup inventory videos is like a lot of work, but I don't have my previous pictures from when I did my makeup inventory at the beginning of this year. I will also leave my makeup inventory playlist down below. But I'm gonna keep my pictures in a folder on my computer now, so we can at least compare where, like, the pictures as well when I update at the end of the year. But to kick it off, you guys, we're gonna kick it off with the primer category. We started the year with 17 primers, which I actually didn't feel like my primer collection was out of control until I did my makeup inventory and realized I had 17. I have used up a few primers this year, but I've also purchased a significant amount of primers this year, more than one gal needs to. So I've only decreased by 1 in this category, and I'm currently at 16 primers. For foundation, I was nervous to do my foundation inventory because I love buying new foundation, and I didn't feel like I'd used up too many foundations this year. So I was really surprised that my categories are exactly the same. So at the beginning of this year, I had 28 foundations, 11 of those being tinted moisturizers, 17 of those being foundations, and I still have 11 tinted moisturizers and 17 foundations. Now I have used up some foundations and tinted moisturizers. Like I mentioned, I brought some in. I have decluttered a few as well, but we are still at 28 foundations / tinted moisturizers. For concealer, I was super excited that this category has gone down. At the beginning of this year, I had 13 concealers. I now have 10 concealers, and there are 2 concealers I feel confident I will finish this year. I feel confident I'll finish my Dior as well as my RMS. Possibly my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, which I count in this category. I am really interested in picking up the new Giorgio Armani concealer and the new Natasha Denona concealer, but I've told myself I need to finish off a concealer before I can buy another concealer. So I'm hoping to keep my concealer category at 10 or below going forward. Concealer is a category that I don't get excited to try new concealer. So I don't need a ton of concealer in my collection. It takes me forever to go through concealer. For powder, not surprised to see this has increased a little bit. I had 11 concealers at the beginning of the year and I now have 12 powders. I had 7 pressed powders at the beginning of this year, 4 loose. I now have 9 pressed and 3 loose powders. For setting spray, I was kind of surprised that my setting spray category went up. Now granted, it was only by 1. I had 4 setting sprays at the beginning of the year. I have 5 setting sprays now because I feel like I've used settings. This isn't a category that makes me nervous, but 4 to 5 sprays at any given time is plenty for me. Anything above that does feel like a lot, even though I love setting sprays. I love misting my face, but 5 is like the cap of where I need to be. So that is where that lies. For bronzer, I had 28 bronzers at the beginning of the year. I now have 26 bronzers, which does make me really excited. I have finished off 1 liquid bronzer. Fingers crossed I will have at least 1 powder bronzer empty by the end of the year. But I had 15 powder bronzers at the beginning of the year. Still have 15 powder bronzers. I had 13 cream/liquid bronzers at the beginning of the year, and I now have 10. Sorry, I now have 16 powder bronzers, but 10 cream/liquid. So 26 bronzers currently. That's a lot for bronzer, but I also don't feel like I have a lot of bronzer. I don't know. It's weird how our mind works. For blush, at the beginning of the year, I had 60 blushes, which was an improvement from where I was at in 2022. I think I had like 72 or 73 blushes at one point in time, which is just absolutely bananas. We have decreased even further in the blush category, which I'm super excited about. I recently did like a blush swatching / declutter video. I'll also leave that linked in case you're interested in checking that out. But at the beginning of the year, I had 28 cream/liquid bronzers, and I now have 22. So I've decluttered quite a bit in the cream and liquid blush category. And then for powder blushes, I had 32 at the beginning of the year and I now have 29. So gone down a little bit there as well. I have been so focused on my face palettes this year and just enjoying reaching for my face palettes that I feel like some of my single blush collection has gone a little bit unused. So is there room still to declutter here? Probably. Like, I feel like I love blush, but I'm kind of like getting over blush. Even though all the new blushes are releasing, like I feel like I'm not as excited to try new blushes as I once was. I say that and I'll probably buy like 17 blushes from now until the end of the year. I won't, but that's just the way that I work. For the highlight category, I had 50 highlighters at the beginning of this year, which is just wild because I feel like my highlighter category is like actually pretty contained in my makeup storage. So it never feels like I have that many highlighters. But I have actually gone up in the highlight category, which I don't know how, but I now have, sorry, I didn't have 50 blushes at the beginning of the year. I had 40 blushes at the beginning of the year, 26 of those being powder, 14 of those being cream and liquid. I have increased in the highlighter category, which I am a little bit confused by because I feel like I've only brought like 1 highlighter, although I will say my sister gave me, yeah, okay, maybe I brought more highlighter in than I realized. I still have 26 powder highlights, but I've increased in my cream and liquid highlight category and I now have 17, which would put me at 43 total highlights. I will say a lot of my highlight collection does have pan, so I feel like I'm decent at like panning highlights, but I still have way too many. For mascara, I was so excited, you guys, to see my mascara inventory number go down because I feel like this is a number that I always have a ton of mascara empties, but because there's always free gift with purchase and you're just like always getting mascara for free in something, I feel like this is a category, even on a no buy, I never see much movement in my makeup inventory numbers. So I went from 26 mascaras at the beginning of the year to 19 currently in my collection, which does feel really good. For face palettes, I had 12 at the beginning of the year, and this category, I don't know that I think I purchased 1 face palette this year, maybe. This is a category that we may see like a difference in numbers because of the way that I am like categorizing things, but I had 12 face palettes at the beginning of the year. I now have 15, which is actually okay with me. I've been enjoying face palettes, if you could believe it. I've really been enjoying them. I do try to be really conscious about what face palettes I'm purchasing just because I know in the past have been really bad about reaching for face palettes. So I'm happy with 15. I would be happy maybe with a little bit lower, but I'm comfortable with 15. For duos and trios, I started the year with 6. I now have 9, and I believe this is just due to how I am categorizing things. 9 duos and trios though feels like a lot, just because I feel like I don't reach for specifically duos. I do not reach for that much. Like, I should not buy duos. Trios, if it's like a highlight trio, a blush trio, I've been, again, better about reaching for those. But duos and trios at 9, this is too much. I am trying to pan completely my Oma Beauty Duo Highlight and Contour Stick. So fingers crossed I'll have one less duo at least by the end of the year, but that is where that category lies. Moving on to eyeshadow primers, I started the year with 5. I now have 4. 4 feels like a lot still to me. I would say like cap at 3. I am currently on an eyeshadow primer no buy, and I did get an eyeshadow primer from my sister this year, and I've also gotten an eyeshadow primer from Alter Ego and PR, but still 4 feels like 1 or 2 too many. For brows, my brow category has gone down. In fact, I've cut it in half. Brows was at 8 at the beginning of the year, and I'm now at 4. I do have a very specific brow routine. I love to have a brow pencil. I really like the NYX, like a really thin one, a brow pencil, a brow glue such as the NYX brow glue, and then I love to have like a tinted brow gel. So I think 3 or 4 brow products at any given time is really a perfect place for my brow category to be. For cream and liquid shadows, this is something that may have changed a little bit. I definitely am categorizing this a little bit differently. Last year, or at the beginning of this year, I counted my ColourPop single cream shadows, Super Shock shadows, in with my single shadows. This year, I'm counting ColourPop Super Shocks in with my cream and liquid shadows because they are a cream shadow. So at the beginning of this year, I had 10 cream shadows for liquid. Now between cream and liquid, I have 16. So I went up by 2, but I also am now counting all of my ColourPop Super Shocks in this category, whereas I wasn't before. So actually, I feel like I've done really well in this category. This is a category I just should not buy much, because while I love the look and the aesthetic of a one and done eyeshadow, it's just not something that for me, I'm doing that frequently. I don't get a ton of use out of my cream and liquid shadows. I am currently trying to pan one of my Stila liquid shadows. Would love if I could get through both of my Stila liquid shadows this year, because they definitely are going to dry out and go bad. But currently cream and liquid shadows sit at 16. For my single shadow category, I was super excited that this has also gone down. Part of that is that I'm recategorizing my ColourPop Super Shocks, but also I think I have decluttered some single shadows. So I went from 138 at the beginning of the year to now 106, which feels more manageable. I've enjoyed my single shadows as well. And if I'm specific about what single shadows I'm bringing into my collection, usually I'm always super excited about them. Usually it's like a fun indie shadow. There have been some depotted shades out of like ColourPop palettes when I want to keep like 1 or 2 shades, but the rest of the palette I'm good with decluttering. So I'm comfortable with where my single shadows lie. For palettes, it said I was starting the year with 155 palettes. I do not think that that was accurate. I just did a palette declutter. I decluttered quite a few palettes. I'll also leave that linked in case you're interested in checking that out. But I now have 150 palettes, which feels still like a lot, but definitely more manageable. I want to be more conscientious about what eyeshadow palettes I'm bringing in. I love palettes, love testing them, but I have so many, and it feels overwhelming when the palette collection is even at 150. I'm like, this still feels a little bit overwhelming. So need to do some work there, or just be more mindful about my shopping habits there. For lipstick, I was really surprised, but perhaps I've decluttered. My lipstick collection went from 42 to 40, only down by 2. There are like 2 lipsticks that I think I'll finish this year, and I would like to swatch my entire lip collection. I want to do like a lip swatch video of all of my lipsticks, and maybe liquid lipsticks, we'll see, just to like see what I can potentially declutter. Similar to like my chaotic blush declutter, I want to do that with my lip category. So perhaps by the end of summer for that. For lip liner, I started the year with 17, still have 17, which I decluttered too. So I'm like, were there lip liners rolling around at the beginning of the year that I missed counting? I never wear lip liners, so I just need to be on a lip liner no buy. I am working on a lip liner in a project pan, but it's not going well. For lip oils and lip stains, I'm not sure where I counted lip stains last year, but I'm counting them in lip oils right now. I had 9 at the beginning of the year. I now have 15. That's fine. I love lip oils. I love lip stains. I will also say with the lip category, because I have so many lip products always like floating around everywhere, I never anticipate that my inventory numbers will be 100% precise and accurate, because inevitably there's a lip gloss in my car that got missed, there's one in my purse, there's one in that purse, there's one at my work desk. Inevitably we've missed a few lip products. For lip balms, I went from 10 at the beginning of the year to 9 now. Now I have finished off a couple of lip balms, and I'm not sure I purchased any more. Again, this could be a situation where it's like there was some in my nightstand I didn't count, but at least it went down. And I am from Minnesota. I'm a lip balm galley. I constantly have something on my lips. So I've used a lot of lip products this year. I should really be on a lip buying ban, but we are currently at 9 lip balms. For liquid lipsticks, I went from 31 at the beginning of the year to 25 now. 25 is still too many because I just never wear liquid lipsticks. There's one liquid lipstick I might finish this year. Maybe we can push it to 2 potentially. I think maybe 2, because I have a mini I think I could finish up, but 25 is still way too many. That's why I'm like, I need to do a lip swatch video. For lip gloss, what do you guys think? I've used a lot of lip gloss, but I have way too many lip glosses and I love buying lip gloss. We went from 62 to 52, which feels so good. I said in my video at the beginning of the year that I really wanted to get my lip gloss collection to below 50, and I believe I can do that by the end of the year. I am so hopeful and I believe in myself. I can do this. There's a couple other lip glosses that I am currently working my way through. I have some mini lip glosses in my collection. I have a lot of lip products in my collection still that are like half used. So if I put my mind to it, I'm confident this number, even if I want to purchase a couple other lip glosses this year, we can get it below 50. And then the final, bopping back over to eye categories, but the final category for my makeup inventory is my eyeliner. I have no idea how this happened. This might be another recategorizing, because I think there's some eyeliners that are like technically cream eyeshadow sticks that I counted in my eyeliners that at the beginning of the year I may have counted in my cream and liquid category. Can you tell? I'm just so disorganized. I need to be better. But my eyeliners, I started the year at 32 and I'm now at 40. I have way too many eyeliners for a person to have, because I only have 2 eyes and it takes literally forever to get through eyeliners. But that is where my eyeliner category sits. I also feel like eyeliners sometimes I just find them like floating around. So it's possible that this is also just never going to be a super precise category. But okay, you guys, that brings us to the end where I'm gonna scooch back over. So at the beginning of 2023, grand total including eyeshadow palettes and eyeshadow singles, I had 769 makeup products in my collection. That's so many. And I had 476 products if you excluded eyeshadow singles as well as eyeshadow palettes. Now, midway through the year, my grand total including palettes and single shadows is 718 products, so down 51. Down 51 from the beginning of the year, which just feels so incredibly good. I love my makeup collection. I never anticipate I will be a minimalist. I love to try new things. I love to swatch. I love to play with makeup. But my makeup collection had been getting to a point where I just was feeling super overwhelmed. I would buy new makeup releases and not be like, I would be excited about them for like 3 minutes and then I would be like, okay, I need to buy more makeup. That's just like where my mind was. And I've really seen a shift in just feeling like I have too much stuff. So to be down 51 products, grand total, feels so good. And then in terms of total products excluding eyeshadow singles as well as eyeshadow palettes, I'm at 462, so down 14 in the categories of excluding singles and eyeshadow palettes, which feels good to be down 14 products, especially because I still have made, you know, significant purchases this year. I wish I had do I have it right on my notes? I wonder if I do have it in my notes. I do. Total pot products purchased, I've purchased 47 makeup products this year, excluding eyeshadow palettes. So to have purchased 47, but to know that I've used up, I think 46, let me look, 48. So I purchased 47, used 48, and then I've done a little bit of decluttering here and there as well. So it feels really good to have gone down by 14 products. I still, end of year goal is to have this below 450. that would either mean I don't buy much more, or I'm using up so much, or I declutter a little bit more, which, thinking through my lip sticks and liquid lipsticks and even lip liners, I could see myself doing enough decluttering to get below 450, but that would be the goal, and then I would like to stay below 450 going forward. But that is it for today's makeup inventory video. That is going to wrap it up. I would love to know if you guys do a mid-year makeup inventory. Where is your makeup collection sitting? Are you happy with it? Do you have too many things? Do you want to purchase more things? Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye.